Good morning. So I just wanted to go live this morning to talk about a couple of things. Um, I'm actually glad I waited until today to go live about this topic, because when I first saw that people were still thinking like this, I just was like, wow, I can't even believe people. I don't really want to call them dumb, but I just can't believe that people still just not moving with any common sense at all. That's the best thing I can say about it. So I'm really glad I waited to today to approach the topic because I mean I might not be like completely nice about it, but I don't want to be like I don't want to come across as too harsh about the topic. But let's just get right on up into this topic. So I'm gonna tell y'all basically what made this topic even come about because honestly, I've been staying away from stuff like this because I just don't really like honestly, I'm kind of like at a point where if it just seems like something ignorant or something like that, I just don't even really want to entertain it too much. But yeah, this what happened. So basically, um yesterday I was on YouTube and I usually don't even I usually don't even really I don't watch this person right here. I'm sorry, I had lost my train of thought. But I don't watch this particular person, but for whatever reason they keep showing me this person post. But I haven't watched this person in like a year. And then when I did watch them, I only watched like two videos of theirs, and then I was like, nah, not my cup of tea. So basically, this person posted a post yesterday, and this particular post caught my interest. This post, I'm kind of glad it did caught my interest because it reminded me that this is probably a topic that needs to be spoken on. But yeah. So basically, I'm gonna pull up their post. Let me pull up their post really quick because I wanna make sure I don't leave no details out because I actually tried to record this video for y'all already. But I was trying to do it on StreamYard so that I could show y'all the post, exactly everything that I was talking about. But basically, I recorded the whole video on StreamYard, and StreamYard basically left my audio off. So I'm like, what? That's like a waste of my time. But let me just go to this person's post or whatever. Yeah, I was like, that's like a straight waste of my time. Let's see. Now y'all see, basically I still got y'all remember the other day when I was telling y'all about how I made my lighting a little bit better? So basically today I'm actually in a room that has decent lighting, and I still did my lamp setup over the laptop like I told y'all about the other day. If y'all didn't see that video, basically I told you if you got like a stand-up lamp with like two or three heads, that's all you need to do is put a light bulb in the lamp heads that's closer to your laptop or phone and point that down towards your camera, and that'll brighten it up for you. Okay, so this dude posted a post and he said, since I'm too light skinned to be an advocate for black men, let's trade me to another race. I can take my son's resources, money, and dedicate it to the upliftment of that group. All of our accomplishments will be attributed to another group. So basically, I don't know if this dude is is a light-skinned black man, or I didn't know if he was mixed or not. I didn't know, I didn't know. So I did comment because I feel like if you're light skinned, you're black. I mean, there what's the question in that? I don't believe in pitting light skinned black people against dark skinned black people. That's that's slave ideology. Like I don't want to continue what our oppressors have already put into our minds to for light skin to be against dark skin. So if you're light skinned, dark skinned, and you have two black parents, you're black. And I mean, that's not even an opinion, that's a fact. I mean, like me, I'm dark skinned. I have a younger brother. We have the same mom and father, and he is light skinned. Okay. And we look just alike. People used to think we were twins. But yeah. So let's get into this. Um so I basically responded to him. And I asked him, I said, "Do you have two black parents?" I am only asking because I do believe that if you have two black parents, you are black regardless of skin tone. But if you have one white parent, you must recognize that you are mixed. You are mixed race. You can advocate for whatever you think is right, but it does not change the facts. So, that's what I told him because that's the truth. And I had a few people try to argue with me about that statement because I feel like the reason why black people try to argue with you about the statement of telling them that a mixed person is not black is because black people are so insecure. They secretly feel like mixed people being included as black makes them a little bit better because that's what we were taught in slavery. Basically, they brainwashed us. They brainwashed mixed people to want to claim that they're black instead of claiming both sides. And the way they did this is by rejecting mixed people by saying that you're not good enough to be white, but you're better than the blacks. So by them rejecting mixed people in this manner, it made mixed people start to only claim their black side because they told them that you're black. Because in according the reason why they did this is because they wanted to sleep with black people. They knew that this would be a thing. They knew that there would be mixed babies born, but they want to remain the superior race. So, in order for them to remain the superior race, they have to say that their bloodline is not tainted with anything else. So, if you're tainted with anything else, we completely reject you and you're given over to that other race. So, I don't know why black people accepted the role of accepting this myth. I don't understand it, but I feel like black people accepted this role because it's already was subconsciously programmed in the minds of black people that basically uh the the mixed slaves are better than you. They get to work in the house, you work in the field. So black people already think that they're at the bottom of the barrel. So they're already subconsciously programmed to kind of like worship mixed race people, light skin tones. It's already a subconscious thing for black people. I mean, and then we're also subconsciously trained to if you're a black person, we're also subconsciously trained to hate each other for having different color skin tones. And I'm not talking about mixed people. I'm talking about different skin tone black people, light skin, dark skin. We hate each other for that. I mean, we're literally trained that, and they still train us to this day. They still keep us trained through the commercials, the TV, all of on the internet, the meditation they make us do on a constant basis to keep us trained. It's subconscious meditation. But anyways, let me get back to what I'm talking about here because I'm gonna tell you right now, this is gonna be a long video. It's gonna be a long video. But anyway, somebody had commented and told me, um, So that means that you're saying Obama is not black. So y'all already know how I feel about that. Y'all know that I think that Obama is not black. Obama is mixed race. But this is what I told the person. I said Obama is mixed race. Sadly, that is the only reason he was allowed to be a president. It is the same as house slaves and field slaves. Mixed slaves worked in the house and black slaves worked in the field. So, and that's true because it's like out of all of the many presidents, we only had one so-called quote unquote black president, and he was mixed race. You mean to tell me that they could not find out one qualified candidate after all of these many years that has two black parents? No, they're still telling us to this day that the mixed slaves are allowed in the house and you black slaves stay out in the field. They're still subconsciously programming us to not think we're good enough and we accept the breadcrumbs because we just waiting on whatever they'll give us. So they put a mixed person in there, we ready to claim them as black because we so happy to have anything that has any tainting of black in it that we're just ready to claim them as black. They're mixed race. So anyway, here goes somebody else um that clearly didn't read what I said. They said, "You do realize that two light-skinned black people can have a light-skinned baby, right?" Duh, I do know that. I know that two dark-skinned black people can have a light-skinned baby also. I don't say that you're not black because you're light-skinned. Light-skinned people are black. I don't believe in pitting light-skinned and dark-skinned people against each other. Anyways, I told them, I said, yes, did you not read my comment? If the two light skinned people involved are black, then they are black. You are only considered mixed race if one of your parents is of another race. So now this person right here, I'm about to really show y'all the definition of somebody twisting everything they read to fit a certain narrative. So this dude right here, he says you are whatever your father is, Numbers 118. Numbers 118 don't say that. Numbers 118 don't say that. And I'm gonna go over Numbers 118 with y'all. I'm gonna go over that. But I'm gonna continue with the conversation and then I'm gonna go over everything this dude said and tell you why everything he said is basically him twisting everything that he read to fit a narrative because he wants it to be that way so badly. Okay. So I told him, I said, um, I didn't even respond to what he said about the Bible because I already know that's not true. I'm like, I mean, basically, if you use a little basic common sense, you can see that what you're saying not making sense. So, basically, I was still trying to explain to this dude, but I mean, clearly, some people just don't want to understand because they hold on to this narrative like you snatching a crown off their head if they let it if they give up this narrative. But anyways, he says, I mean, this is what I said. I said, if that was true, I know a blonde hair, blue eyes white man with two white parents and a black great grandfather. According to your ridiculous logic, they are all black because the mixed child born from the black grandfather and white woman is black. Then that mixed son gets another white woman. Then you are saying a 75% white baby is black. So since that baby is black, when he gets another white woman, that baby has just about 100% white DNA, but according to you, he is black because every child that was born only claimed black based off the grandfather's DNA. According to you, blonde hair, according to you, a blonde hair, blue eyes white man could claim black. Now that does not make any sense now, does it? So that's what I told him. And here goes somebody else. I mean, honestly, I don't even think they comment is worth reading because I mean their comment just don't even make sense. You could just look at people and see they comment don't make sense. They're basically saying that nobody's really black. We're all mixed. And that's just not true. You know, you can explain that logic with just I'm gonna tell y'all, it's like this. If you have two different juices, let's say you have grape juice, and cherry juice. So you fill up the glass with 10% cherry juice and 90% grape juice. That's gonna be damn near a cup of grape juice. That's gonna taste like a cup of grape juice. I mean, come on now. And you if you drink a little bit of that juice and put some more grape juice in the cup, all that cherry gonna be gone. That little 10% left can be gone because the majority is grape. Okay? You then wash out the cherry. So let's say you have 50% cherry juice and 50% grape juice. That's gonna taste like a cherry and grape juice mix because it's 50-50, it's half. Now if you have uh 90% cherry juice and 10% grape juice, that's gonna taste like a cherry juice. I mean, don't you get it? The more it it's like this. If a black and a white person get together and then they have a mixed baby, and then that mixed baby gets with another black person, that washed a little bit more. That I mean, that made more of the black bloodline prevalent. Okay, now the black bloodline is 75% prevalent where it was 50% prevalent. Now that black baby that's born from those, that then this baby is now 75%, the bloodline is from 75% black person's bloodline, black people's bloodline, because it's been going mixed back towards the black bloodline. And that 75% black baby, 25% white baby gets with another black person. That little 25% of white bloodline is going to be washed out. Okay. So we're not all mixed. You can clearly tell if you now if we were all mixed, none of us would be brown. None of us would be brown because you can clearly tell that if you mix one time, you don't even got to mix a bunch of times to make this happen. If you mix one time, the baby that's born, its skin the skin tone is usually more closer to a white person's skin tone than a black person's skin tone. The hair texture is usually more closer to a white person's hair texture than a black person's hair texture. I mean, you could clearly see that with your own eyes. So that just shows you what one generation of mixing would do. If we were all mixed, then none of us would be brown. None of us. None of us would be black. Okay? And you don't have to be and when it comes to skin tone, it really don't matter. Like you can really tell a light skinned black person from a mixed person. You can see the difference clearly. I always know if I see a light skinned black person or a mixed person. I mean, clear it's a clear difference. You know what I mean? Like a light skinned black person usually has black features. Honestly, like they usually look black. You can just tell they black. They usually have black hair textures. I mean, they usually look black. Like you can usually tell that a light skinned person is black. But anyways. So yeah, let's go back to the dude that I was telling y'all about. So he says he's gonna prove to me, he says he could prove it biblically and scientifically. So this is what he says to prove it biblically and scientifically. And I'm gonna prove both of those facts wrong. But he says biblically they will all be black. Now this is how delusional this man is. He's saying blonde hair, blue eyes, white man or white woman would be black just because they had a black grandfather at some point, great grandfather at some point. Okay. So he says biblically they will all be black and scientifically as well. And just to put the icing on the cake, a dude could have grown up black and been Wesley Snipes color. Let's stop right there. If you don't mix back in with a black person, there's no way in hell you're gonna be white Wesley Snipes color. That's just not gonna happen. So, and no point of even throwing that out there because you're gonna have to mix back in. Two black people is gonna have to mix back in at some point to get Wesley Snipes color, or either it's gonna have to be a mixed black person with a full black person to get Wesley Snipes color. I mean, you're not gonna get Wesley Snipes color 4 generations of mixing with white only. That's not gonna happen. But anyway, let's keep going. It says, but if his paternal lineage or white haplogroup, which never changes, also first of all, let me tell you about the Y chromosome. That's the sex chromosome. That's the chromosome that determines that whether you are a male or a female when you're born. That's what it is. The X chromosome, you get two X chromosomes if you are a female, and you get an X and a Y chromosome if you are a male. So when you're a female, you don't get a Y chromosome because that is the chromosome that makes you a male. So females get two X chromosomes, and the Y chromosome never changes. And guess what? The maternal DNA also has a chromosome that never changes. I believe it's the MT DNA or the MS DNA. I'm gonna read it to y'all. But yeah, the maternal also has a DNA that never changes. So and this is only for whether you're a male or a female. You basically have 23 DNA markers, and only one of them determines the one that he's talking about determines whether you're a male or a female. It doesn't determine your ethnicity. But let's just keep going with this, okay? So he says, or white haplogroup, which never changes, comes from a white man. He would in fact be a white man. The problem is that black isn't a race, just like the other color coded designations for groups of people. And the white man starters this mixed BS in order to not deal with the children they created with so called black women. No, white people didn't start mixed. They actually want to just make mixed people out of black people. White people started something saying that their race, they knew they were going to be sleeping with black people anyways. They wanted to remain the superior race, so they wanted to say that their bloodline is not tainted. They wanted to remain superior. It was all about being superior. They wanted to they don't they white people don't say mixed. The white people call mixed babies black. They call mixed babies black. So it was all about them wanting to say that they don't even like the word. The people that start, they don't even like the word mixed. They don't even want to be recognized that mixed babies are a part of them. They want to just completely put it off on a black race because they want to say that they're too superior to be tainted by anything else. So yeah, it has nothing to do with them not wanting to um with them wanting something to be called mixed. They don't even like the word mixed. They want you to be completely, they want to say you black. But anyway, it says race is seed line and lineage. Hell, the term race means seed. Men decide the race no matter what. So basically, this man is saying that race don't exist. He done made himself so delusional that he done convinced himself that everybody is the same race. I mean, come on now, dude. You got to be pretty delusional to believe that. And guess what else? The Y, the Y chromosome, it changes a little bit. But guess what? The maternal DNA that you get from your mother, it virtually never changes. So with the Y chromosome, uh it gets mixed just a little bit, like around 5% with the mother's DNA. So if you're never mixing back in with black women, your Y chromosome is changing over time. It's not gonna stay the same, first of all. And then you also have to think about this. The Y chromosome is the male chromosome. So when you're mixing and you're just having when you're basically completely white and your generation all has blonde hair, blue eyes, and you're completely white in skin tone, you do know that little boys are being born, right? So um they also have a Y chromosome because that's what makes you a little boy. You don't just only have a Y chromosome if you're black, first of all. So all of those now white babies that you done created, they have white chromosomes too. Okay. So let me just get into this with with the facts, and then after I talk to y'all about this, I'm gonna talk to y'all about why he's incorrect biblically. So let's just go to this first. I'm just gonna go to this first. Let's see. I was actually looking at this on the laptop, so now I gotta find it on the phone. But I'm gonna find it for y'all because I feel like this is a very important topic. As a matter of fact, let me just pull it up on the laptop. Let me at least pull up the question on the laptop. Give me just a second. I don't know why they don't show me the same thing on my phone. Okay, so here we go right here. So here you go. This tells you what does XY chromosomes determine. So I'm gonna tell you what the X and the Y chromosome even determines. Like, what is it even all about? So two of the chromosomes, the X and the Y chromosome, determine your sex as male or female when you are born. They are called sex chromosomes. Females have two X chromosomes, and males have one X chromosome and one Y chromosome. So that chromosome only determines basically whether you're a girl or a boy. Like it doesn't. I'm gonna tell you where most of your genetic makeup comes from. Give me just a second. Okay, there are two main types of chromosomes: sex chromosomes and autosomes. People typically have one pair of sex chromosomes, so you only got one pair of sex chromosomes and 22 pairs of autosomes. Wow. So he basing his whole DNA makeup off of one of the 23 things that make your DNA. So you have 22 pairs of autosomes. Your autosomes contain the most information about your ethnicities. So your autosomes contain the most information about your ethnicity, not whether you're a male or a female. Okay? So let's really get into let's really get into what he's talking about. Oh, this is a good article right here. So let me read this article to y'all. I'm glad I looked this up on my phone because it's much easier to get back to it, especially since I'm not using StreamYard. I tried to use StreamYard. It didn't work for me. So here I am. But yeah. So I like to tell the whole story. So I'm gonna read y'all the whole story. Because I'm a very fair person. Well, I like to consider myself a very fair person. I try to stand by that. So, okay, so here it is. Does the Y chromosome change from generation to generation? So here we go. For something so tiny, the Y chromosome is fascinating in a lot of ways. It is passed virtually unchanged from father to son. Women do not have this chromosome because it's the chromosome that makes you a male. So it says women do not have this chromosome. This means that certain traits are indeed passed only from father to son through the Y chromosome. But this isn't as significant as it sounds. The Y chromosome is a puny bit of DNA that has only a few genes. And the genes it does have mostly deal with being male. So the only traits that are passed from father to son through the Y are those that turn an embryo into a male and those that make a man fertile once he reaches puberty. Note that I said the Y passes from father to son virtually unchanged. It does change a little from generation to generation, even picking up a bit of mom's DNA along the way. It just doesn't change as much as most of our other chromosomes. And that's our 22 autosomes, which make up most of our genetic makeup. So here we go. And they're not talking about mom's chromosome because mom chromosome that she passes to her son and to her daughters, it basically doesn't change at all because the male he gets a X and a Y chromosome, so he gets that chromosome from his mom also, so he also gets that chromosome from the mom that basically never changes. As you can see, the Y chromosome does change a tiny bit, but the mom has a chromosome that does not change virtually at all. But anyways, let's keep going. Your unique set of chromosomes. We have this, that's the title, your unique set of chromosomes. So let's talk about the chromosomes. It said we have 23 pairs of chromosomes, 22 pairs of autosomes, and one pair of sex chromosomes. So this man want to determine his whole genetic makeup off of his sex chromosomes. And that's only one pair out of the 23 genetic of our makeup. So, anyways, one pair of sex chromosomes. The sex chromosomes are the X and the Y. Most people with two X chromosomes identify as female, and most people with an X and a Y chromosome identify as male. In eggs and sperm, there is only one of each pair of autosomes and one of the sex chromosomes. The cool thing is that your mom's body didn't just pick one of the two chromosomes in the pair to go into the egg. It made a unique one just for you. The two chromosomes of each pair swap some DNA in the process called recombination. This gives you a one of a kind chromosome and also helps to fix any damaged genes. The same things happens in making sperm. So we know that this happens for all the chromosomes that have pairs. This includes any of the 22 pairs of autosomes, regardless of gender. And if you have two X chromosomes, they will recombine too. But what if you have an X and a Y chromosome? Do these chromosomes recombine? They do, but just a little. So the Y and the X chromosome recombines just a little bit. That Y chromosome, it still gets mixed with mom's DNA just a little bit. So if you're just constantly only mixing, your generation is going whiter and whiter and whiter. That Y chromosome is definitely changing. But anyways, to understand how DNA swapping works for the X and the Y, we need to go back around 300 million years. Back then, we all had two X chromosomes and there was no Y. Wow. At some point, a DNA change happened in one of the pair, creating the SRY gene. This is the gene on the Y chromosome that gets the ball rolling and turning an embryo into a male. Shortly after this happened, the X and the Y chromosome stopped recombining with each other to keep the new SRY gene from changing. Over time, the Y has lost many of its genes and shrunk down to the tiny chromosomes that we know today. So the Y chromosome has lost many of its genes. Part of the reason this happened is that most of the Y had nothing to recombine with. Around 5% of the Y chromosome matches pretty well with the X and can recombine there. But the Y also needs to recombine with something for the other 95% of the chromosomes. Otherwise, it might completely disappear. Luckily, our Y has found a partner to recombine itself with. The Y chromosome has a second copy of its most important genes within itself. These copies are mirror images or palindromes that read the same way forwards and backwards, like the sentence "Madam, I'm Adam." The Y swaps pieces of DNA between these genes. This second copy is useful because it means the Y chromosome can go through recombination with itself to fix any errors and to make a unique Y to pass along. So men pass along a Y chromosome to their son that is similar, but not exactly the same as his own. But these aren't the only changes that happen to the Y chromosome because its recombination isn't as good as the normal kind. The Y tends to pick up extra DNA changes, and these can then be passed onto a man's son. So let's keep going. When DNA is copied to make a new cell, the copying machine sometimes makes mistakes. Our cells have excellent repair machinery that catches most of these, and almost anything that is missed can be fixed with recombination. But the Y chromosome is a little different. These mistakes aren't fixed as well with its form of recombination, and so more mistakes can make it through. This means that a son's Y will have a few differences compared to his dad's. So dad's Y chromosome is passed to his son with a few differences. A bit of recombination with the X. So it's having a bit of recombination with the mom's X chromosome. So while you going whiter and whiter and whiter, that Y chromosome is getting watered down because about 5% of that can get mixed with the mom's X chromosome, and your Y chromosome is becoming more and more towards the white generation, either way how it go. But anyway, so so let's keep going. I think I was right here. The Y chromosome actually isn't the only DNA. Okay, here we go. So the Y chromosome actually isn't the only DNA in our cells like this. There is another bit of DNA that passes from mother to children virtually unchanged for many of the same reasons. This DNA is called mitochondrial DNA. Most of our DNA is found in a special compartment in our cells called the nucleus. This is where you can find your 23 pairs of chromosomes, but not all of your DNA is the nucleus. A tiny bit of your DNA is found outside of the nucleus in the little energy producing powerhouse of your cells, the mitochondria. Your mitochondria DNA, mtDNA, came only from your mom. Your dad's was lost right after your mom's egg was fertilized. How did that happen? When sperm fertilizes an egg, all of its DNA and other stuff are transferred to the egg. This means the egg has its own mitochondria, plus the mitochondria from inside the sperm. But the egg is so much bigger, so it needs more energy. This means the egg has a lot more mitochondria compared to the sperm. So there are many fewer mitochondria from dad. So you'll get less mitochondria from dad. The egg also makes sure that the mitochondria from the sperm get marked for destruction. This ensures that the only empty DNA that gets passed along is from your mother. So basically, any empty DNA will be destroyed, so it won't even get passed along. The only empty DNA that'll get passed will be from your mother only. It passes virtually unchanged from mom to her sons and daughters. It is still being debated whether empty DNA goes through recombination since it doesn't recombine much at all. So the empty DNA, it doesn't recombine much at all. So the empty DNA, it really rarely changes. That's why it's kind of harder um to like if you're trying to find a specific person in your ancient history, it's harder to find because that DNA virtually never changes from from mom, so it'll pick up a large group of people that could have been related at any time. That could go back thousands of years from mom. Like it'll be very hard to pinpoint a specific person because that DNA that comes from mom, it actually almost never changes. Unlike that, unlike the Y DNA from dad, that one changes a little bit as it does recombination. But anyways, let's keep going. Okay, so it says since it doesn't recombine much at all, it can't fix mistakes very well. So mistakes build up faster here than in the chromosomes. Scientists use mtDNA to track ancestry through many generations. It's pretty neat that only mom gets to pass along her mtDNA to her children, but dad is not left out. He gets to pass along a Y chromosome only to his sons with just a tiny bit of modifications. So basically, the fact that this man wanna determine his whole genetic makeup on the chromosome that determines whether you're a male or a female is just completely ridiculous. When you're leaving out 22 autosomes, you're taking one little piece of your genetic makeup. You got 23 pieces. You just dropped off 22 just so you could be delusional. What kind of sense does that make? When both mom and dad has a piece of DNA that does not change. Except for I only have to tell this guy this because he don't understand. Except for dad's DNA, Y can change a little bit, and mom's can possibly change a little bit too, but it's more unlikely for moms to change. But dad's actually can change because it gets about 5% of it mixes with mom X chromosome. So the Y DNA does change more often than not. And because it changes more often than not, you can find a more recent ancestral history because let's say it changed you don't it been changing 5% with each mother it's been changing a little bit with that 5%. So it's done got down to about 50% of what it used to be from your ancient grandfather, you know what I mean? And the rest was kind of mixed in with those X chromosomes over the years of mixing. It'll be easier for you to find a more recent history instead of like a history instead of trying to go with the mtDNA, which basically almost never changes. I mean, that history could go back so many years. You know, the mtDNA is from the mom, you know. But yeah. Um so now that we basically talked about that, let's go over here and talk about um what this man says about the Bible, about Numbers 118 proves that basically whatever race your father is, that's what you are. So let's go to Numbers 118. King James Version. Okay. So the way I read, I don't believe in cherry picking the Bible and just even though I could read that one verse and it'll still prove him wrong because that one verse don't even say that. But I don't believe in doing it that way because that's just like opening a book and reading one sentence and saying you know what that book is about. So I'm not going to be long, but I'm going to read from 1 to 18 so that you could get a better idea of what they're even talking about here. So it says, "And the Lord spoke unto Moses in the wilderness of Sinai, in the tabernacle of the congregation, on the first day of the second month, in the second year after they come out of the land of Egypt, saying, Take ye the sum of all the congregation of the children of Israel after their families, by the house of their fathers, with the number of their names, every male by their poles." So we all know that the men were the leaders of the community. Like they orchestrated everything on how everything was going to go, how this is going to be, how that was going to be. Like we all know this. And then we also know that men within our Bible history, they had multiple wives. A lot of them had multiple wives. But if a man had multiple wives, let's use Sarah and Hagar for example. Sarah has a son and Hagar has a son. Sarah is not related to Hagar's son, and Hagar is not related to Sarah's son. But Abraham is related to both of the children. They are both his children. So when you talk about getting them ready based off their father's house, they're keeping the siblings together. You can't say based off of Sarah's house. I mean, come on now, Sarah only has one child, but that'll be leaving the whole sibling out. Like, does that make sense to you? That don't make sense to me. And then to me, for men to be the leaders of the community, it would make more sense for for them to get things ready based off the father's house anyways. I mean to use it in those terms anyways. Like but this doesn't this y'all gonna see that this whole this whole verse right here, this whole chapter, it has nothing to do with DNA. It has nothing to do with what race you are or nothing like that. You're gonna see. Let me just keep reading. So I'm going to read that part again, and then I'm going to try not to interrupt too much. It says, take ye the sum of all the congregation of the children of Israel after their families by the house of their fathers with the number of their names, every male by their poles. From 20 years old and upward, all that are able to go forth to war in Israel, thou and Aaron shall number them by their names. So they're getting them in order for war. Like they're determining who's going to be in charge, which son is going to be in charge of the other sons. Like they're getting them in groups in order for war. They're establishing a ordinance. So yeah, let's keep going. Um and with you there shall be a man of every tribe, every one head of the house of his fathers. And see, you see, they getting a man of every tribe, everyone to be a head. Each man getting a man of each group of brothers to be the head of the house of his fathers. And this is so that they're getting them ready just in case there's any type of wars or anything. And these are the names of the men that shall stand with you. From the tribe of Reuben, Eleazar the son of Shadar; of Simeon, Shelumiel the son of Jerashadai; of Judah, Nahshon the son of Immadib; of Issachar, Nathaniel the son of Zuar; of Zebulun, Eliab the son of Helon; of the children of Joseph; of Ephraim, Elishama the son of Ammihud; of Manasseh, Gamaliel the son of Pedizur; of Benjamin, Abidan the son of Gideoni; of Dan, Ahiezer the son of Ammishaddai; of Asher, Pagiel the son of Okran; of Gad, Elisaph the son of Duel; of Naphtali, Ahira the son of Enan. These were the reon of the congregation, princes of the tribes of their fathers, heads of thousands in Israel. And Moses and Aaron, now you see, these were the reon of the congregation, princes of the tribes of their fathers, heads of thousands of Israel. They're choosing which son of the father of all of the brothers is going to be in charge of each group. That's what they did. And Moses and Aaron took these men which are expressed by their names, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month. And they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of their names, from 20 years old and upward by their polls. So they basically just gave the men ranks. They just gave the men's ranks. That's what that was about. That's what that was about. So, I mean, the only way somebody can really get that confused is if they're determined to misunderstand something to create a narrative that they want it to be. And I really think that it's really sad that we're in a position to where our men have determined that the only way that they can feel strong is to fight the women. I mean, women are doing the same thing these days, honestly. Like we got two groups of delusional people in the black community. We got the group of delusional black women who call women who support black men pick me's. I've been called the pick me before because basically these group of women, I haven't watched them in about 2 years ever since I realized how toxic they were. I mean, I at first I never really watched them like that, but like I say, I saw one of their videos one day and I watched the video and I told her, I was like, because she was basically telling black women to go out and get a white man, stop dating black men or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, basically that's not gonna be good if you go out and get a white man. Most likely that experience is gonna be probably even worse than dating a black man because I mean most likely I mean like that's just not gonna work. Like a white man first of all the word is completely against it, but I didn't even want to talk to her about the word. But second of all, I mean, just on a general level, um, most white people, they don't sympathize with us in the same way that we could sympathize with each other. Although a lot of us hate each other, but when you do come together in a marriage, then it's completely different than if you try to come together in a marriage with someone of another race. Like just like that, man, I don't really know a lot about him, but I saw he committed suicide and he was like a public figure and he had a white wife. And I saw the day before he was talking about black issues. And I'm like, it's really sad that he was not able to be comforted by his wife with the stress he was feeling um, through from issues that was going on in the black community. But yeah, I just feel like it's not enough relation there for something like that to work. I honestly feel like history will repeat itself in these relationships. Your your husband is gonna hate you if you have a white husband in some form or fashion, or you're just some type of fetish or something. It's just stupid. I mean, just like if you get a white wife, and the thing about with black men that get a white wife, they usually relate to each other on both hating black women. That's the thing about those type of relationships, and I think it's kind of going in that direction with black women too, because nowadays I notice a lot of black women are dating out because they are mad at black men. The black women that used to date out, it used to be for different reasons, but now it's more so because of anger towards black men. So they're basically going in the same direction to basically just getting with men to basically hate on black men together, just like black men have done for years, getting with white women to hate on black women together. So yeah, we just got a lot of delusional people. I can't believe that we're here. I mean, damn, they did a good ass brainwashing job on us. That's all I can say, because basically we're fucked in the head. I mean, we're seriously jacked up. So basically, as y'all can see, scientifically and biblically, what this gentleman has said is not true. If you are mixed, you are not black. You are half and half, and I am not saying that that is a bad thing. I'm just not going to go with I don't want to say white. I don't want to go with slave ideology and agree with something that was told to us by our oppressors with just a little bit of common sense we can see that that's not true. Like we know that that's not true. Like why do we have to agree to that? Why do we have to agree to a lie? If we deny this lie, we're severely attacked by black people, by everybody, because black people want to keep claiming these people because it makes them feel a little bit better about themselves. But yeah, that's about all I got to say um about this topic for right now. But yeah, oh yeah, I just want to tell y'all one more thing. This will be so funny. Um, if it was like if we were like on the Animal Channel, and they were talking about us like we were animals. They said this is the species of the brown and the white bears. The brown bears, the male and the female bear, they severely hated each other. So they always came up with different ways to show their hate towards each other. And one day, the brown male bears came up with this great idea that they no longer needed the brown female bears. So they decided to no longer mate with the brown female bears and let them die out. And they will only mate with the white bears, the white female bears from now on. So now the white male bears and the brown male bears are all mating with the white female bears. So 800 years later, the brown bears no longer exist. They're all white bears because the brown bears got rid of the brown male bears got rid of the brown female bears. So nobody knows who's who anymore. They're all just walking around saying that they're black and they're all white as hell. Oh my god. Now that would be funny as hell. We could cause our own destruction through our hate. I mean, seriously. But yeah, this was a real long video. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.